Welcome to this apology video of sorts, where I'm looking at some bits I missed from the Liftable Pallets and Bales pack by JOS on Farming Simulator 22, with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, you join me here on Riverbend Springs doing a cotton harvesting contract. Now, as the thumbnail suggests, this is an apology to JOS. I'm so sorry. When I did the mod review the other day, there were so many mods, and there was the Planet biogas plant, which I did a separate mod review on. I was so excited about the liftable pallets and bales from JOS, and I went through and showed all the pallets and bales. I missed a huge chunk of that mod, and I can only apologise for that. Like I said, it happens. I'd read all the stuff before, I got into my flow of setting stuff up and then doing the mod review, and I completely missed out an entire section. So why am I here doing cotton bales, you may ask? Well, the mod, if we come to here, includes, because it's liftable pallets and bales, and I showed the liftable bales you can get under the consumables section, and I also showed all the pallets at various different places, including the warehouse. The section I missed off was balers. It says included are balers and cotton harvesters, producing bales weighing only 100 kilos, making them liftable by hand. So if we come into this section here, which is our special crops section, go to our cotton harvesters. They're our standard cotton harvesters, and these two are part of the liftable pallets and bales mod. The John Deere doing 10,000 litre bales and the Case doing 20,000 litre bales, so they're just slightly adjusted versions of the standard base game, but the bales will be liftable once they are dropped out the back, so we're going to check that. Now that's not the thing that's got me, that's not what's got my interest peaked the most. I mean, being able to lift them makes life a lot easier. Again, this comes down to if you don't like using pallet forks, if whatever it might be, you haven't got a lot of time, I don't know, whatever reason you might want to use it. And again, I will stipulate, if you don't like the mod, if you don't want to use the mod, if you don't agree with the mod, that's fine. Don't install it, don't use it. I'm showing it because it's there, I'm showing the features of what it does. I'm doing this additional because I missed a chunk. If it had been one thing, if it had been a tiny little bit, I probably wouldn't have come back to this, but this is a big part of this mod. I had to make sure I covered it. So I'm going to let this run, and then once this has got a bale out the back of it, I'll show the fact we can lift it. These bales need to be delivered. I can't remember where these are going actually, but what I'm going to be looking out for, I've covered a little bit on mowing. I did that the other day, and because that was with the forage pickup header. I'm looking at the straw baling contracts, and thank you to Terry who reached out and messaged me about this as well, because that could change when I said about being able to take wrapped bales and storing them, and I did a video about that as well, that you can't pick up the straw bales, because the straw bales, baling contracts in-game, they're not designed to be lifted anyway. With the wrapped bales, the bales need to be lifted to be wrapped and then put back down again, so you can pick them up and take them away. The square bale, generally it's square baling I've had so far for straw baling contracts, they don't need to be lifted. The contract is just wrap the bales. Now the thing about that is, if you're using a wrapper, if we come back into here and we go back up to our baling now, if we go into this section and come down under liftable pallets and bales mod by JOS, all of the base game balers are here, but under liftable pallets and bales. If you use these balers, they will produce identical bales to the standard ones, just they're liftable, so you can pick them up and you can throw them onto a trailer or into the back of a pickup or whatever you want to do. Again, if you don't like using forks or you haven't got time or whatever it might be, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter what your reason is, they are here, and that's under your square balers. And then around balers we've got a load as well. There we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I can roll forward to a point where I get a straw baling contract, and we're going to give that a go as well. So if we're using the liftable pallet and bales mod with one of their balers on a baling contract, will I be able to then lift those bales and move them? If I can I put them onto a trailer? Can I store them? And can we complete the contract and keep the straw bales? It's all a kind of, it's an additional to the mod review to show you all the bits and bobs on here, but also a test as well of that, of a hack that Terry messaged me about, so we can encompass all of it in one go. So what I'm hoping for now, because this doesn't seem to be getting a huge amount, I thought, well, that's a fair size field, we might get a couple of bales. I'm glad, at least, obviously, the only downside to this would be For doing contracts like this, if you want them to be liftable, you need to either lease or own the vehicles rather than borrow vehicles for contract work. But if you're doing it for your own personal use, then yeah, it's up to you how you go about it, isn't it? I mean, if you're doing a lot of cotton, leasing a cotton harvester, it's a no-brainer because you can make a tidy bit of money on this as well. So I'll see you in a bit when we've got a full bale. I will lift it. Not I need to prove it. I trust JOS. Another thing I didn't say on the mod review as well is that it says pallet, big bags or bales added by other mods will not be liftable. So if there's any ones that have been put in, because the stipulation is anything on your map that's already here when you install the mod won't be liftable. Anything after installing the mod will, but it will not include other modders' pallets, big bags or bales. So you need to be aware of that. Some of the stuff that's part of this pack. So see you in a bit. So the baler has just unloaded its first bale. This should be saying bottom right, owned by you, 10,000 litres, mass 100 kilos. I should also be able to lift it up. Levitate. There you go. That's rather cool, actually. Can't stop that rolling. Let's turn it that way. Stop. Fantastic. Right. So I can. So the great thing with this as well being that we can lift it up, turn it on its end if we want. So if you're going to put it onto a trailer, you can load them on that way. You can load them on round. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. But yeah, I just wanted to show the fact it can work. It does work. So I will move on to hopefully if we can pick up one of the contracts for straw baling, and we'll give that a go and see if that works. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Like I say, Terry messaged me to say about it. I'm not saying he's telling me fibs. I just want to test it for myself. So I will see in a little while. Nice. Sorry, it's me again. It's top tip time. If you are doing a contract like this for cotton harvesting, if I jump back into the cotton harvester, and if you've got unload, where are we? Turn on automatic drop. If you've got automatic drop turned on, when you get to the end of the contract, if you've got a partial bale in there, it doesn't give you the option to unload the partial bale. So what you have to do, because I had a few people messaging me before, but I think in update 1.3 that was changed anyway. But if you've got that turned on, automatic drop, and it doesn't give you any option anywhere, L1, R1, L1, R1, nothing to unload bale. If you turn that back off again, so I turned off automatic drop, it then comes up with the option to unload partial bale, which I did, and I'm doing now. So if you're not getting the option to unload a partial bale, and it might be that you haven't got enough in there, because I think does it have to be over half? I can't remember what it has to be over for it to be able to be unloaded, but it can be that's causing it, whether you've got your automatic drop turned on or off. For doing big fields, it's always easy to have it turned on, especially if you're hiring a worker. But when it gets to the end, partial bale, turn that off, and it should give you the option to unload a partial bale, which I can now go in. He says, pick up object. There we go. It's always the way. No plan survives contact with MrSealyp. I've got a baling contract that's come up for straw baling on the Cursed Field 77. We'll see if this works. And every single straw baling contract I had prior to update 1.3 had been with square balers. I hadn't had a round bale one. So I leased a square baler from the Liftable Pallets and Bales pack by JOS. When the contract came up, of course it was for round baling. So I've leased a round baler instead from the same pack. I've put on the largest bale size possible. I've got it on auto drop. And what I'm going to do then, firstly, when the first one comes out, we're going to see if we can lift it. If we can, that's great. And then we're going to see if we can take them and store them, and can we still complete the contracts? Because technically we're contracted to bale. The farmer wants all of this baled and sorted. Can we pick this up? Yes, we can. No, that's nothing to say we won't be able to pick this up with bale spikes or anything like that, or one of the auto stacks potentially. But the fact we can pick them up by hand is great, because previously you couldn't move them, you couldn't, you know, because there was no reason to lift the bales. But now they're coming out of a liftable pallets and bales pack baler. We are good. Very cool indeed. Right, I shall carry on, and then what I'm going to do, I think I might buy a field next door just for the test of this, put in a bale and pallet storage. Then we haven't got to go too far with it, because the other concern is, of course, if we get to the end, we did with one of the other contracts, one of the wrapping contracts, because I'd already taken the bales off the field. When the contract ended, it got to 99% and it wouldn't end because the bales had gone. So there's that fine line when you finish the contract, is contract complete, and completing the contract. You don't want to complete the contract, but if you want to remove the bales, you need to at least get to that point. So that's what I'm going to do. See you in a bit. Back again. The contract on field 77 is almost complete. We're sitting at 99% and I've saved it. Now, as you already saw from the clip previously, I didn't speak, I bought the auto load, bought that over, and it wouldn't let me collect them, which is fine, but I know I can pick them up by hand. And you can see right over there I've got one on the trailer. I think I might put two on the trailer. So what I'm going to do now is complete the contract but not collect on the contract. I have saved it at this point, because there's always that risk. You think it could complete the contract, then it won't let me pick the bales up, it won't let me touch them. The bales shouldn't disappear until you collect on the contract, but that's what we're going to check. And then over there, directly in line with the baler, down that field, I've put in a bale and pallet storage, the old storage shed by Black Sheep Modding. So what we'll do is we'll take all the straw bales off the field, we'll put them in that storage, then we'll collect on the contract. So then that means we are able then to gather any resources that we need to with the farmer's permission. Again, this is down to the fact this field was harvested, the harvester left the swath behind, the farmer wants it baled and sorted. Now, he may want to keep the bales, he may not. He might have said to you, look, I just want it baled and I want the bales gone, in which case you get to keep the bales. Using the liftable pallets and bales packed by JOS makes that possible. Now, on console, because we haven't got super strength or that kind of stuff on console, for doing these contracts. So I'm going to carry on. Now, as soon as we hit 100%, it won't let me bale anymore, because that's what it usually does. Please, there we go. Contract finished. Now I don't have access to the land. But I didn't end up with a full bale. That's annoying off the back of that. But we've got a few bales here. So what I'm going to do now is try and load these onto the trailer. Like I said, the bales haven't disappeared. And then what we'll do, we'll double check on the contract at the moment, so what the contract is going to pay us. So we are sitting on, it's completed, 12,937. So we're going to take all those bales, put them into the bale and pallet storage. That shouldn't change. We should still get paid for doing the baling, and we should get to keep the bales. Again, this is test on top of the mod pack. So I've just got two on there already, so let the contract complete with the two that's on there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spend a bit of time loading these up. They're 11,000 litre bales, so there's a fair bit here. Yeah, still let me pick them up. That's good. Now, maybe you don't want to do this, you haven't got the time to do this, and that's absolutely fine. If you don't want to be moving them by hand, like I say, because we haven't got the auto stack won't work, which is, you know, I didn't know if it would. I thought I would try it, but still lifting them by hand is quicker. Well, it depends how good you are at using the bale spikes and forks and stuff like that. I don't mind doing either, but this pack makes life so much easier, especially if you're doing the constructible stuff as well. because you can buy stuff directly from the warehouse, or any pallets you generate once you've got the mod installed. Yeah, it's a game changer. So I'm going to see you in a bit. I'll get those over and put them into the bale and pallet storage. Then we'll complete the contract, and we should get to keep the bales. JOS, you are a legend. So, 11,000 litre bales, 187,000 litres worth of straw. Let's put it in here. Oh, I can't remember. There we go. That's all in storage. So now, what should happen is, when we collect on the contract, that should remain, and we should still get paid. Contract is still showing 2,937. Let's collect. What else have we got down there? There's quite a few contracts available. And there we go. Look at that. That is an absolute result. All made possible by JOS. So that's the Liftable Pallets and Bales pack by JOS. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. As always, thanks for watching.